If you're listening right now to the Little House 50th Anniversary podcast, we know something about you. We know that you're obsessed with Little House on the Prairie.
For more than half a century, Little House on the Prairie, the series and the books have been bright lights for people all over the world who seek out goodness, decency, and human connection.
Here on the Little House 50th Anniversary podcast, we celebrate everything that made Little House so special.
The stories, the characters, the actors, and the messages that have made Little House iconic family television.
And a perfect counterpoint to a world that feels like it's going off the rails every day.
Where is Michael Landon when we need him most? I'm your host, Pamela Bob.
And I'm your prairie bitch, Allison Arngrim.
And I'm Dean Butler.
Our hashtag imaginary boyfriend. Join us for our loving, quirky, and often irreverent conversations about the finest family drama in the history of television.
And the imperfect people who made it that way.
Presented by our devoted patrons, and visit simivalley.com.
Hello, bonnet heads! You're back! We appreciate you so much. How are you? I'm Pamela Bob. I'm your host, creator of Living on a Prairie, and superfan. Here with your favorite prairie bitch. That's right, it's Allison Arngrim. With this cute haircut. Girl, it looks so good. And with our hashtag imaginary
you girls,
boyfriend.
That's the first thing you see is the cute haircut.
Of course! When a man notices a haircut, that is a keeper. That is a keeper for sure.
I always notice my wife's haircut.
Well, there you go.
I don't necessarily notice everybody else's haircut.
You know what? That's the person that counts the most. So I accept.
Smart move.
Well, that's right. He's our hashtag imaginary boyfriend, Dean Butler. Very attentive to his wife's haircuts. So there you go. He's a good man, everybody. That's a good man.
Well, you do have to. Well, and it's sort of talking about haircuts. It's sort of easier to do that when you know she's going for a haircut.
Yeah, but that's cheating.
And then that's the first thing and that's the first thing I talk about when she comes back in the door. Your hair looks beautiful. Good. Now, if she watches this, I don't know if Catherine, if you're watching this, you know that's what happens.
But you'll look to see how it's different. You pay attention.
Yeah.
There are guys, even if her hair looks great, even if they like it, they don't say anything.
No, they don't say anything.
They don't pay attention.
They don't notice.
Go, I guess it's different.
Yeah.
I don't know.
No, it matters when your significant other notices your haircut. It does matter.
Yeah.
I don't know why it matters, but it does.
So now, Allison, you've made one of your annual sojourns to France. So what's going on?
Allison's here from France.
Mon Dieu. I am in Paris. And I just got here. Basically, I'm going through this is sort of recover from jet lag phase. I got in like late Friday and crashed out. And then I walked around Saturday. It was like shopping, hanging out. And then on Sunday went, what was I thinking? I was totally exhausted. It's been a lot of sleeping. But I'm sort of semi-functional today. Hence, I was able to get to the beauty parlor yesterday on Saturday. And then nails were today. So I'm sort of functional. But after this, I'll probably have something to eat and then put on my pajamas because,
you're so cute with your nail. I'm not a nail girl. I've never been a nail person. Dean, do you get manicures ever or pedicures ever? There's some men who love it. Do you ever get a manicure or pedicure, Dean?
Yeah, I have done that. And I think it's actually on the pedicure side. I think it's a very healthy thing to do.
It is.
Actually.
It's so good.
It's good for you to do it, but I know that there is a certain amount of resistance to doing it.
I don't know why. Whenever I see a man,
it really feels good, and everything sort of looks better when they're done.
Yes.
Well, he's very well groomed. I've never noticed Dean. Dean's nails are so ragged and dirty. That's not a thing. Clearly, he's had a manicure at some point.
Dean, that's how I should introduce you from now on. He's our hashtag imaginary boyfriend. Very well groomed, Dean Butler.
I get to fix myself up and rest, and then eventually I start the tour in a few days to do Nelly Olson en flamme les années 80. Nelly Olson sets fire to the 80s, and I'll be doing that all over France.
Is that the one where you're doing cardio the entire time?
2 weeks.
Oh, I know. I'm here for like all of October.
Yeah, she's
I'll
here
be
all
back
month.
October 29th. I have like 9 shows.
Yeah, she is a lot.
Wow.
And
I can't
Good
get
for
enough.
you.
And this show, I
And
saw
some
you
of
do
those-
this show, and this show, she is
Yes.
literally doing cardio the entire time. It's like an hour
It's
and a
the most
half of
athletic show.
burning calories, big time.
Dancing and jumping around
Wow.
and sketches and foolishness and it's an active show
It is.
and you burn off many calories doing it. Yeah.
Is there any part of this you could do at our event in Simi Valley in December?
It's all in
On the-
French.
Probably.
I mean, I think, for that Saturday night, I'm switching the subject
Well, are
here
you gonna
because,
do
of course, I'm going to be
confessions?
shamelessly promoting this event. But, we have our cast reunion
Yes,
coming up.
we must.
Interesting that you are doing this show. Maybe there's some piece of it for the Saturday night Little House variety show that we're doing, which is a special added thing that
I
we're
have
doing.
some good stories because when I was
Okay.
in fabulous Wisconsin, well, of course, I did my regular show in Indiana, but when I was in Wisconsin visiting Laurel's birthplace and everything, they had a thing in Evening with Allison, and they were like, well, yeah, okay, Indiana, they were like, yes, do the whole show, the R-rated. This was, they said, yeah, you definitely don't do the R-rated.
Oh,
'cause
in
the Evening with Allison, it's at a church. We're
It's in a
literally
church,
using-
right.
It's
Yeah,
in
yeah,
a
yeah.
church. And they're just looking for some good stories. I'm like, not a problem. And so, yes, told stories and had a big Q&A, and it was lovely. And people had a great time. So I got stories. I
I'm
got
sure you do.
stories.
Of
So
course
there
you
is
have
that.
stories. Of course you have stories. So I was in Mansfield at the home of the mothership for Laura at Rocky Ridge Farm with Charlotte Stewart and Wendy Lully this last weekend. We had a really
I saw
nice
pictures.
visit.
You guys looked like you're having a great time.
We rode in the parade in a carriage this time, pulled by a draft horse, but we had a good time.
Good.
I did. There was a parade in Wisconsin. We had a little parade. It was very nice.
Yes, they do a
Love
parade
parades.
there too.
Very cute.
I think we need to get into this
Yes.
because
And
there's
also, let's
just so
not-
there's just so much
There's so
wallowing
much
in self-pity to be
episode.
talked about.
There's
yeah.
things going on in this episode.
Yes.
Well,
Yes.
First,
yes.
I'm gonna say,
oh, we can't
don't
jump into it before we talk about Green Room 42 and
I
our
was just going to say, don't
live
forget,
podcast.
we're doing a live podcast November 22nd, 1 p. That's a Sunday, 1 p.m. at Green Room 42. My God, I hope tickets are available by the time this drops. It should be. The most frustrating thing was 2 days ago, they were like, okay, it's up, it's live, you're ready. And I was like, great. And I double checked the page and it was wrong. Like the information on it was wrong. And so I emailed them back and I was like, I'm sorry, we need this corrected. And they responded right away like, yes, of course. And I thought, oh, they're going to do it right now. And it's been 2 days. And
They
so
still
I'm
haven't done
waiting. And so hopefully today, hopefully by this time, you guys, I'm sorry.
Okay.
I don't know what to tell you.
No, don't worry about it. It'll all work. It'll all work.
It'll all work.
Yeah.
It's happening.
People are posting like,
They
I want
are.
to buy them.
I
I want to
know.
buy the
I
ticket.
know.
Let me buy
And
the
it's
ticket.
going to be
Yeah.
so much fun. I am so excited for it. But anyway, yes, who knows? By the time this is done, it might be all announced and set. I don't know what to tell you.
There's another event that I'm not at because I'm in France is Dallas, October 4th and 5th. You, Dean and Bonnie.
At Dallas at Dallas Expo, right? Bonnie Bartlett and I will be there next weekend. So I fly from Stockton back to Texas, where I came out of yesterday
gosh.
from Missouri. So it's like this 10-day sojourn that I'm on, bookended by Little House.
Oh my God! What do you mean? You're that's an Allison
Yes,
tour where you
exactly.
send to one city to the next city. Oh my God!
It's good. It's
Yeah, because
exciting.
I'm doing a back-to-back. Well, we're kind of doing a back-to-back. In November, I go to San Francisco. It's like the 14th. I'm at Oasis. And then I'm flying straight in to Boston and meeting you because we're going over to, what was it?
Rhode Island?
Freaking
Rhode Island.
Rhode Island. I've
Yes.
never been to Rhode Island.
I've never
Oh,
been to
it's
Rhode
a state
Island.
I could check out. I've
I'm
never been to
looking
Rhode
forward
Island.
to it. Yeah.
Chocolate Expo. Chocolate Expo.
What
Oh,
city is it? What town is it in Rhode Island? Providence?
do we know?
Don't know.
I think
Don't
so.
know.
I think so.
I'm not sure.
Okay.
It is in Rhode Island, but it's a whole chocolate expo, and it's November 16th, and they have all the chocolate, and me and Dean get to do that, and then I'm coming
Wait.
straight from there to New York.
How
to
do
New
you
York
guys
to prep for
Yes, because there will be lots of prep for our fabulous show that we will be putting on.
Yes.
What is the link to the Chocolate Expo in Little House on the Prairie? Why
we don't have it yet. We'll get it.
Okay.
We'll
They called.
Got
They
it.
said, we're having a chocolate expo.
That's
we
all
said,
I need.
Yeah,
You
we'll
had me
come
at
to
chocolate.
that.
I will not miss a chocolate expo.
And, come on, you know us. You Dean or Allison turned down free chocolate.
Chocolate. Yeah. Oh my God.
That's
Of course we said
fantastic.
yes.
That's like a dream come true. A wonderful dream
It's
come
it's
true.
the best gig. Yeah, exactly.
All right. Okay. Now we can
Yes.
get into it. All right. Here we go. I'm going to read Dean's copy because he prides himself on this, and I will never forego this ever again. Coming up today, an episode about possibility and despair. Yes. But first, produced by Prairie Partners and UBN Go. This is the Little House 50th Anniversary Podcast, y'all. Woot woot. Okay, Dean, hit it.
Yes.
What are we talking about today? It's special.
Yeah, so today's
It's a
episode is
Dean-centric-
season 8's episode 17. And there are really good stories behind this episode and why it was done.
Okay.
Days of Sunshine, Days of Shadow, Part 1,
Boop,
which is a
boop.
rare 90-minute program. I don't think that happened a lot during the life of the series. And Part 2 the next week was an hour. So this was a 2.5-hour show.
Wow.
This was written by, so Part 1 was written by Don Ballock.
Good old Don Ballock.
Both parts were directed by Michael Landon. I want to say it was February of 1982 is when we did this. I usually have that date.
We would break in February. We worked in January. We'd break in February. It was like last thing we'd shoot would be like
Yeah.
maybe
So
early February.
right. So it. Yeah.
And
So
then
I think it.
looked
Right.
It looks very fall. When did this? It's
It was cold. I mean, it was definitely cold. I mean, the fog was rolling in. We had lots of dialogue to explain that plowing in the field, which was all done at one time, was a miserable, cold day. And that you cut back to the Wilder house and it's beautiful, blue sky. I mean, this is just the reality of shooting episodic television. You just have to do it.
You can tell it's winter in Simi because the grass is green because it actually rains in the winter in LA.
It does. It
Whereas
actually
our
does.
summer, everything's brown and yellow because it's dead because it's nonstop heat for 4 months.
That's right.
So
That's right.
So I went, oh, it must be winter. There's actually green things.
So, Allison, what's this episode about?
It is complex. I am telling you.
I gave you two
episode-
possible descriptions to consider.
Two. I like them both. I mean, they both and I was watching going, wow, I have notes. I was like, there's things the matter with this episode. The marriage between Almanzo and Laura faces its first stern test when he falls seriously ill with diphtheria, which is you don't mess with, and later suffers a crippling stroke. And this is from real life too. This is one based on real Laura and Almanzo, which is great. Eliza Jane arrives to help care for her brother, but makes matters worse with her coddling. However, you have suggested there could be an edgier approach. Almanzo Manley Wilder dreamed of conquering the prairie, but after a brush with diphtheria, he ends up conquering bed rest. Ignoring doctor's orders, he insists on showing he's still manly by trying to save his wheat crop that it appears that he never planted. We never saw any wheat. I saw no wheat. Did you see any wheat?
There's no wheat. There's plowing, but no wheat. Yeah, it's an interesting little problem. Yeah, go ahead.
You don't plow.
Oh my God, I never realized that.
After you harvested the wheat, there is nothing to plow if you're waiting for
It's invisible.
It's invisible. Oh my God. Okay, there's so much going on. So he tries to save his wheat crop, which he never planted because where was it? Only to suffer a stroke, which leaves him half paralyzed and fully cranky. Laura, meanwhile, goes from starry-eyed bride to full-time nursemaid faster than you can say little half pint. It's a very angry episode. Everyone's very angry all the time in this episode. Just terrifying. The sunshine in the title lasts about as long as the opening title, and the shadow stretches on for 5.5 hours.
Yeah, it's the first 5 minutes sets us up for disaster. The first mention
it's
is
the most painful.
Yeah,
Everything bad happens, and they're all angry about it for an hour and a half. For a guy nicknamed Manly, spends most of the episode being anything but sulking, quitting, and perfecting his prairie pout. He's very unhappy. By the end, he's less the rugged homesteader of Laura's books and more the Eeyore of Walnut Grove.
Yeah, he's a Debbie Downer.
It's true. Well, he takes it bad. I mean, he's a young man and a stroke, and he can't move. Yeah, he just loses it. He does not take it well. He does not. Yeah, he's bitter. Party of one. Yeah.
There could have been a more noble way to play this problem, but it was written the way it was written, and Michael never tweaked. He never turned me in a different direction because I was just getting what I got from it, and so that's the way it ended up. As I watched this yesterday, I was so depressed, thinking, "Oh my God, this is so not what I think of when I think of what this character was." I love the I love the beginning, and I love the end. Yeah,
the middle was a bit rough. It's rough.
I also want to know, Dean, did you know this storyline was going to happen? Or did you get the script and you were like, whoa?
About a week before we got the script.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. I have so many questions.
Yeah. I mean,
okay.
I knew it was coming. And the deal was, I mean, this is the sort of as we talk about all the things in the episode, but the underlying motivation for the episode was Michael had made the decision that he was going to step away at the end of the 8th season. And Kent said, "We need to find out if you and Melissa can carry this." So
you were told that point blank, like you were told that. Holy.
Yeah.
They were really honest on the Prairie. They were on our show. They were kind of straightforward. Here's what we're doing.
So we're going to throw every calamity we can throw at you. And I mean, I have to say, for as depressing as it was, the numbers were spectacular.
Yeah.
On the episode.
Yes.
And they were really good. I think it was number 4 the first week and number 2 the second week for weekly programming. So it worked really well. But as I watched it I'm thinking, oh my God, why were people watching this? This is so not what I think of as, cultivating who this man was. So, but that's actor narcissism talking. I'm not separating myself from what we're being asked to do. So
you were miserable and pouty, but Laura was also absolute shrew central. That stuff like
she was.
Yeah. And it's like, oh man. And then Eliza Jane shows up and she's a
cringy.
I mean, it was
so cringe.
I'd have been kind of pouty too if those two broads had been taking care of me. I mean, it was a train wreck. It was rough. I mean, they did throw every bad thing out. And the thing is, Laura and Almanzo in real life, and this is something because I'm going, if I remember, and I looked up, it was actually worse.
In real life?
Because Laura got diphtheria too. That was one of the moments when Doc Baker's going, well, it's diphtheria, as we all stand around the guy breathing
I have notes.
With diphtheria, because it's airborne, it's insanely contagious.
And she's pregnant.
Yeah.
Get out of the room.
In real life, she got it too and was deathly ill. So she wasn't taking care of him or doing any of this because she was really sick and was just managed to miraculously. She got better. He didn't, basically, is what happened in real life. It sucked. It was awful. It was terrible. So it was even worse in real life. They made it they cleaned it up for TV.
And Dean, you shouldn't feel like it's a betrayal of your character. What was so interesting to watch about these episodes is that it was so against what your character was that it was a shocking change as it was to Laura, your wife, who's trying to navigate this. So don't think like, he was such a wimp, he was such an Eeyore. Yeah, that's the point. The point was that this thing defeated him.
No, I get that that's the point.
And how are we?
Yeah. It's why Michael did it.
That's where the drama
see,
was. Yeah.
That's why we say Michael did it. It's one thing to see happy, goofy, sweet Almanzo and darling, spunky Laura. What if it all goes wrong? What if Almanzo's depressed and miserable? And what if Laura's just like bitter and screaming at him? Can that work? Can that happen?
Yeah. So were you guys nervous then of thinking, what if we can't pull this off? Like, what was the pressure like for you?
Well, I think we both went into it knowing that this was very important.
Ay, ay, ay. Did that
sorry.
I mean, did that help? Did that put like a fire under your butts or like what? Because sometimes that kind of pressure can paralyze you.
I don't think it changed anything because the work had enough. You're always nervous enough and concerned enough about whatever you're doing, but there was a lot to do in this, and there was a lot of consequence potentially.
Ugh, terrifying.
And so we knew that there was a lot to it. I think that she and I worked very well together during this episode because we both knew that there was something at stake.
Wow.
So,
because the series would have ended then at season.
It could have. And I think that, I think Michael used the success of this episode as part of the argument to say, we can go on here.
Yeah.
And we can spin this. Now, the reality was, okay, we went on for another year. Our ratings weren't horrible. I mean, the show had gone from a top 10 show to a top 15 show. It was still in the top half of the ratings, but I think NBC was just, was looking to change directions. And
I mean, a decade is a solid run.
I don't know. I was
scrolling through the episodes for the final season for season 9 because everyone sort of is like, oh, that season wasn't good. But there were some excellent episodes in that season. That was not a bad season at all. That there was Blanche in that season. But besides Blanche, the majority of those episodes were really, really good still, in my opinion. I'm just saying.
Well, no, and look, what's really important is how the audience felt about it.
Yeah. And I will say
what's really important.
The one thing noticeable in season 9, I guess, is that you could tell that the writers sort of got into a loop, like a prairie bubble, and that they couldn't sort of break out of it. And so in that sense, you could sense maybe like, okay, things are getting a little stale. But in terms of story and character and all still remained great.
Well, my issue with this episode has so many issues. One, okay, Michael Landon was not a farmer in real life, and the people who decided these scenes with you plowing, somebody was there was no one who had ever been on a farm or knew what the heck they were doing involved. So my father, who was raised in a farm, why he would watch the show go.
Oh no!
The times that you basically plow a field, everyone's more familiar with the spring where you plow to get the earth wave planting, but you do indeed plow in the fall after you have harvested to turn the earth over to prepare it for the winter until you plant again. There isn't any reason prior to harvesting that you need to be running around plowing a bunch of stuff. So he's plowing furiously and then says, oh, we lost the crop, which we still haven't seen. And why? Why were you plowing at all? And then the other thing is no one heard the phrase, too wet to plow. You don't plow in the
pouring rain. In the pouring rain.
In the rain.
Yeah.
You don't even plow for several days after it rains because you can't, because it's wet. You don't plow in the freaking rain. Nobody. And so I was watching that going, what?
Well, no one said he was a successful farmer, right? No one.
Well, actually, he wasn't he wasn't successful in DeSmet or in that part of his life. He did get successful with Laura in Mansfield with raising apples and doing that kind of thing.
And all the talk about later getting a job, which he kind of in real life did wind up doing other jobs. Now, this episode, what I have a problem with is, like you said, a prairie bubble and a writing. So they decided at several points that everything that had ever happened in the last 7 years didn't happen.
I know.
It just went down some memory hole because they made reference. I went, what? Several times. Okay, I mean, yes, Laura's pregnant. They're worried. Laura's never been fragile. The woman is absolutely brutal. And it's like, no, she's fine. So, okay. At one point, she starts talking about, well, Pa never buys anything on credit, cash on the barrelhead. And it's always been that way. And I'm like, since when? Because in real life, as we know, Paul Ingalls constantly did stuff on credit, which is why they broke all the time. How many episodes are there where he mortgaged something or bet on the crop and said, I'll pay for it when the crop gets... I believe that was the crop. And then had some paper that was due, Harvest of Friends, 100 Mile Walk. How many freaking episodes do we have where that is the plot of the episode? And she said, oh, yes, before I was born, when the grasshoppers came. No, you were there.
Yeah.
It was an episode.
And we were all there.
We were there.
She said that, and I was
like, grasshoppers came along.
I know. When she said that, I was like, wait a minute. I was there when that happened. Yeah.
And in the book Plum Creek, it's huge. It's a major thing. And of course, they actually ate everybody's crop. That's why Walnut Grove was poor and they were getting charity at the church. It was a huge deal. Laura wrote about it. It was a huge thing. It was an episode of the freaking show that we all watch. And she goes, yes, the when he lost his farm to the grasshoppers before I was born. So, and this happens like 8-9 times in the show where I just go, what the, what the, I'm going Plum Creek. No, so that didn't happen.
What else? I love that you track this.
I have one.
I love that you track this kind of thing. I think this is awesome that you do
Ma,
this.
When things are bad, Pa says, I'm going to go out and get a job. I'm going to go work in that gang. And she's like, I don't know. And I'm like, so, yes, it's dangerous. Like the time he went and worked with Dynamite. Last time this happened. And he left out of it. I remember. What? No one remembers that. I will let it go on before I dare to even get into the whole Mary problem.
Well, that's what I was going to say. Did they forget that they already had a grandchild who died tragically in a fire? It's like every...
And you know when? Yeah. And when did their grandchild say, oh, you'll be a grandfather? Well, he's already been a grandfather.
He's
I know
been it already.
Dead. Maybe they don't try. But you know how long ago it was? 2 years ago. It was 2 years ago that Mary's very much alive baby they've been playing with and talking at a name died.
But the same thing happened.
Never let the facts get in the way of the story.
There's the same thing that happens when Laura and Almanzo with the Sweet 16 episode, and they're at the dance, and it sort of ends. Ma and Pa are dancing, and Ma goes,
"Don't call me Grandpa."
And she's like, "I just want to call you Grandpa." And they laugh, and literally 2 episodes before, their grandchild died in a fire. Like, it is so crazy.
I'm a bad person. When poor Albert said, oh, great, it's a baby. I hope it's a boy. I don't think he should be talking about if he hopes he has another niece or nephew. Because
that's right. He should have been permanently scarred by the whole premise of another child coming into the family.
But no one is scarred. No one on this show is ever scarred by the trauma. I mean, listen, when I think about the My Ellen episode where Laura is kidnapped by a crazy woman, and she's fine afterwards. She's fine. Like, there's no problem. Everyone's fine.
I think, you don't make, television is not made that way today.
No.
You really pull threads through things.
Yes.
The style of television that was made, these were freestanding stories.
Yep.
They had their own reality inside the life of that story, and everything re-racks to zero neutral at the start of next week, unless there's a part 2, or it's a big thing like someone gets married.
Yeah, I will say
the other baby things don't really,
I will say the one that sort of makes me go, ooh, is the grandbaby reference whenever they're like, we're grandparents for the first time. And it's like, don't.
Was because of the real life book show problem of the universes colliding. And a lot of people say that's kind of why maybe Mary's baby died, because since in real life, Mary Ingalls never married, never had children. If you keep going, what do we do with this freaking kid? This whole storyline, these people, they have to like go away somehow. This can't be there. And
so dark. The baby's got to go.
Bread plate.
The bread plate. Yes, always. Yes, I know that too.
to her firstborn daughter when she had her child.
Because that too.
Was not a newborn when the fire hit. The baby had been around for a while, and you'd think that she would have given it. And see, we can't have that. We can't remember that there was a baby, because then we'd have to question why the bread plate hadn't been given to her. And that bread plate, as you know, as you were just there, is in the museum in Mansfield, because it actually survived the tornado and the fire and I guess Laura didn't break it. The bread plate still exists. The actual literal bread plate literally exists. And so she couldn't have given it. She has to give it to Laura. So we're now in a bind because she's going on about how giving it to her daughter who's now having a baby. And that already happened. But we have to pretend it didn't, because the bread plate has to get to Missouri. It's
you
brain
just can't dwell too much on the facts.
Of course not.
Allison, you just can't. You can't.
It's like time travel. They can't go back. If they go back, don't step in the dinosaur track. And I stepped on the butterfly. It's like horrible time travel where they keep screwing up the timeline. Don't touch anything, or we'll be in a different place when we go back.
During the bread plate moment, I literally in my brain went, I'm justifying this by saying she had a different memento that she gave that she was planning on giving Mary.
Yes. Right. But we never saw that. But
no.
yes. But yeah. Yeah.
Let's back it up.
Casserole.
Okay, now I think given the time where we are right now, I think we should take a break.
All right.
And let's come back and talk about Eliza Jane, because Eliza Jane is the big, one of the big flies in the ointment here that pays off very substantially at the end.
All right.
Yeah. We're not going to talk about the end today, but let's talk about Eliza Jane.
Just part one.
Yes.
All right, everybody, we're taking a quick break. When we come back, Eliza Jane. Yeah.
When you visit Simi Valley, California, you're stepping into the pages of history. Go from the pioneers to the presidents. Explore beautiful wildflowers, hike through iconic Hollywood locations, and end your day aboard the actual Air Force One at the Ronald Reagan Presidential Library and Museum. Throughout the summer, take the Little House 50th Anniversary Tour at Big Sky Movie Ranch. Less than 15 minutes from Los Angeles and 30 minutes from Universal Studios, Simi Valley has small-town charm with big-time history. Go to visitsimivalley.com for more information. We are so grateful to visitsimivalley.com for their commitment to presenting the Little House 50th Anniversary podcast.
Where did Eliza
I want to
Jane
know why you
actually
were billed as a guest star. Can I ask you that?
Well, this is a very common practice that Kent did. When a cast member, a regular cast member had a particularly large part in an episode, you would get billed as a guest star. So that was a very common practice in Michael's world.
Was that a pay scale difference, or it's just title crediting?
It didn't alter any of that. Yeah.
And sometimes it was instead of. Sometimes it was like, well, could I have more money? No, but we'll give you billing up front. Well, all right. It was a trade-off. But yeah, that often happened. My name popped up front a couple times. When that was the thing. If you had a big episode, they go, we'll give you special billing. Okay. You'd get something out of it, All
right. I guess we're back. We started
we're back.
Before saying we're back, but we're back, everybody.
We're back.
I just wanted to ask Dean about the special,
And
that was
special billing.
That was a very common practice. On our program, and I don't know that was a common practice elsewhere. I think it was Kent Michael's way of shining a light on a cast member who was going to be making a particularly strong contribution to an episode. Matthew Laberto was a guest star a lot on the.
If you were super duper featured, it was all about you. Boom, name popped up front. So
Okay, so let's just establish what has already happened up to the point that Eliza Jane enters, right? We first 5 minutes of the entire show, we start with sweeping music, the Almanzo theme, right? How does it feel to have your own
which
theme?
I love that theme.
That theme is so Almanzo. Okay, Almanzo, I know, but we're talking about the show Almanzo. And everything is great. Everything's going peachy, which is how we know you're doomed.
Well, we know that it's going to go to hell.
Everything is too good. It's too good. Lois pregnant. The wheat field, the invisible wheat field, is going to bring in everything. He's going to become a horse. Like everything is happening. It's all good until It's not. And fast
Until
forward
it's
to diphtheria,
Right.
stroke, and then does Eliza Jane come after the tornado?
No. She comes
Before.
before the tornado.
She comes
in
when
Act
she's
2.
sick. Boom.
She shows up in
Act
Act 2.
All
Yeah.
right.
Now, again, Jock Baker's trying, but as he said, there's a mild epidemic going around.
Wait. I have to address
What the hell
one
is a
thing.
mild epidemic
I also have
of
to
diphtheria?
address something very important. They're all in the room with him. They're like, Doc,
Yes.
what's happening? He says, diphtheria, highly contagious. And I'm like, get the pregnant wife
Get out of
this room. And then eventually he's like, you probably shouldn't take care of him. And she's like, don't worry, I'll be careful. And I was like, how?
It's airborne. Diphtheria is airborne. It is an
How?
airborne
Yes.
bacteria. It is highly contagious. And in real life, the real Laura, in fact, did catch diphtheria. They both have diphtheria. They were both in bed. It was a disaster.
Yeah.
So, yes, they're all kind of standing around going, diphtheria, when in fact it was a highly contagious, deadly disease at the time. But there you go.
She's like, it's all right. I'll be careful.
With the arrival of Eliza Jane, and everyone, I love her and love what she did on the show. Always did. When we did our conversation with Lucy, she was very clear that
she hated
what she was asked to do.
If listeners don't, if listeners don't know this in our audience, in season 1, we Lucy Lee Flippin came on our show. We talked all about this episode, so you can go back and re-listen to it. But
yes, you can go back.
She hated this episode. She hated what they turned her character into. She totally disagreed with it. And I see her point. I mean, there was no development for that character. When she left the show, we thought she's finally going to take the reins and drive her own life. Like she's gonna be okay. She's gonna live for herself. She's gonna make it work. She's gonna have a happy life. And she comes back, and it falls right into the same old tropes. And you go, "Oh, there was no development whatsoever for her."
You want to smack her in the face.
You
want
really
to smack
do.
her. She's very
she
annoying.
wanted to smack herself in the face. Lucy Lee Flippin did, for sure. She did. She hated this. She hated it.
The episode was true to real life in the history of when you read the books and when you read about the real Laura and Rose. That Eliza Jane was a serious piece of work in real life. Eliza Jane did totally bully Almanzo and Laura to do stuff all the time. She made them move to Florida.
Lazy, lousy Eliza Jane.
She was awful. She made them move to Florida. They hated it. They had to move. She was constantly trying. Remember the whole thing about why Laura and Almanzo just run off to the Reverend Brown and get married? And are like, no, that's okay.
Because
Eliza Jane was going to show up and be the wedding planner from hell and ruin it and make them have a big wedding they didn't want to. It was Eliza Jane. That's why they snuck off and had the wedding. She absolutely was awful. And in real life, Laura talks about it a lot. Rose talks about it. Rose went and lived with her because I think they got along. She was the only one who got along with her. But she was a holy terror and pushed people around all the time. So this is actually kind of like, oh, we're going to go to the books. We're going to go actually turn to life.
Well, but now what Eliza Jane did for Almanzo and Farmer Boy after he got the blacking on the wall. She goes and cuts out the the wallpaper and patches it so their mother and father never see it. And there was a great redeeming moment for Eliza Jane. And I love the way she played the character.
Oh, she's perfect.
She's lovely.
She's perfect.
Yeah, I mean, I love what she did, but I know she did not like being this coddler, manipulator, really sort of just sad person who's trying to get some synergy around her life by pulling her brother back into it.
And the way she infantilizes you is so cringe. When you're feeding him, I literally,
with the chicken when they first
God, I literally felt like I needed to shower after I watched that scene. It was so gross. It was so gross.
The wannabe real estate agent. I know.
Yeah, and don't tell them the truth about the property by any means. Yeah, just sell it.
Yeah.
Okay, so Eliza comes in. Oh, this is my other beef with Eliza. She first comes in. She's like, I want to be of help. Tell me how I will do anything. And Laura's like, great, teach. We need a teacher at the school. And she's like,
no, that's not what I want to do.
I'm like, that is not helping. It reminds me of, gosh, I have a friend who, when she had a baby, and when you first have a baby, it's a really difficult time, and people, if you're lucky, people come and give you food that you can put in your freezer so that you don't have to cook casseroles and lasagnas and whatever, so you have a storage of food so that you don't have to cook the first at least 4 to 6 weeks, right? That's the toughest time. And my friend had a baby, and the father's parents wanted to come and be a part of it. Like, they didn't want to wait. They wanted to come because they wanted to help. And they came and they ate all the food. And they didn't. All they wanted to do was hold the baby. Like, what would have helped was walking the dog, maybe cooking a meal, maybe vacuuming.
Cleaning the damn house.
Cleaning the house. Like, but they ate all their food. And they just wanted to be there to hold a newborn. Horrible. This is what that reminded me of.
And it's really that is really common. You hear mothers talk about all the time where they go, do not come. Don't.
No.
Unless you're going to come and mop my kitchen or hold the baby while I take a shower.
That's right.
Unless you're going to do concrete things, just do not even.
No, that's the kind of. So, and Laura's, I mean, she legitimately needed a teacher to step in. It was a legitimate, it would have been so very helpful. No, that's not what I want to do.
She just wasn't interested in that.
Jeez Louise. Okay. Can we skip now to...
So the manipulation, the infantilizing, as you talk about the feeding of the food, I'm thinking like, oh my God, what is happening here? And then she starts planting the seed of Laura and Almanzo have to move to Minneapolis because Almanzo can be at a desk job, and she's convincing him he's never going to walk again, that he's never going to get up, that he can't change, that,
Hope springs eternal.
Tell me, what is it that Almanzo knows how to do that he would have a desk job?
I don't know.
I thought the same thing. What the hell is it that Almanzo studied or took a course in school
that
or has a degree in
job.
Or someone to have a desk job? Yes, he did when he later had to go to work in really carpentry store with like furniture. Sure. He did stuff like that. Very good at office? An office? What office? What the hell is he going to do?
Wait, I need to take it back for a second to when Laura gives birth to baby Rose. Yes. First of all, this must have been epic TV because you're seeing little girl Laura, now little woman Laura, and now giving birth Laura. That must have been mind-blowing to audiences who have been following this person since she was 8 years old. Second
I love the way she played that moment. I thought she did that. I don't want to hear my baby to hear me yell. I want her to hear me laugh. And I thought that was a lovely touch in the way it was written. That's because you're a man. That's because you're a man. And this scene was clearly written by a man. Because, let me tell you something about natural childbirth.
Wait, I'm not going to scream. You know what I thought of, because there's a bunch of like kind of weird culty people who do silent birth.
Yes.
There's a bunch of different. I'm going to make no noise, and it doesn't.
No,
work.
You have listen as a mother who has had 2 natural childbirths, one intentional, one unintentional. Let me tell you something about screaming during natural birth. It happens whether you like it or not. You have zero control over whether you scream. It is a train running through your body, coming from the universe that is of a power that you have never known ever and could never fully accurately describe it. So every time I see, and I get it, it served the story. It's lovely. It's lovely. But I was like, bullshit! I was like, this is some man writing prego scene going on.
I love that.
Even stuff, and this is a pet peeve of mine for any TV show or movie. When you see a fully like pregnant woman lying in bed, when you're that pregnant, you cannot lie on your back because the pressure is too uncomfortable. You have to be on your side. Like, because you can't stay on your back like that. The pressure is. So every time I see a pregnant woman in a show or a movie and she's casually lying on her back, having, you know, her little bedtime chat with her love, I'm like, turn on your side. This isn't comfortable for you. I know it's not comfortable for you.
A quick digression. One of my favorite episodes of Friends is when Rachel gives birth and she's in the delivery room with Ross and like 3 different women come through and they have their babies with ease. And she's just, I don't know why that sort of typifies TV birthing.
Yes.
That whole thing.
So anyway, lovely sentiment again for a story. Yeah. It's fantastic. She wants to hear her baby laugh, and she even does a little laugh.
Yeah,
and that's when I threw. That's when I threw my shoe at the television because I was like, "No, no, absolutely not." But anyway, lovely moment. Okay, where are we now?
No, it isn't. No, it's a very nice moment. The moment when Caroline brings the baby downstairs and puts her in front of me. And it was a looped line, and I don't know why it was looped, but what a horrible, cold delivery that was about me. Self-pity, wallowing in just like how hostile was that? It just was like, super oh my God, like what was I thinking about? As even as I re-recorded that. I don't know.
I wonder why
it was
looped. I wonder. What
I have no idea why it was looped, but it was looped. Clearly, it was looped.
These are the things where I found was believable. Like, okay, in diphtheria, you can have a stroke. Absolutely. Almanzo did have a stroke. Almanzo was a mess and actually didn't get better. Like in the show, he was kind of like a mess for a while.
Yeah.
He lived for the rest of his life is the reality.
He had all kinds of problems. He was able to function much, much better when they got to Missouri to the farm, but he had serious problems for a really long time. And young men, absolutely, people when they find out, oh, you're going to be in a wheelchair or you're going to lose a leg or anything, they're not happy.
No.
Especially a young man who's been raised to think he's going to be the hero and he's going to take care of everybody, and then he can't. Yeah.
Right.
No, they're like, take the baby away. Yeah, no, they absolutely, they lose it. I thought, well, actually, this is pretty, I buy.
I bought it too. Did you not buy it, Dean, when you saw it, or just noting how cold it was? Because I bought it.
Oh, did you? Okay. Yeah. It just struck me, just the read of it and the difference in the sound of the audio really was jarring to me. That one, and I'd forgotten about that moment, but it's just like out of a different recording environment.
You're talking about the actual looping.
The looping just sounds so different than the space. There's no room space in that line. Yes, there is room tone in the mix, but there's no room sound in the actual recording and of the voice. And today you would do that differently.
Yeah, it would sound totally different. Yeah.
Interesting.
I want to talk about something else that's sort of more intimate in nature, and I thought I love that they did, that this was written this way. You know, Almanzo's just disconnected from the world, and his wife comes to him to try and get him back in the saddle, in a sense, you know, to get him, and he just can't do it. But I love the gentleness of that scene. I thought she played it really, really well. And of course, the second time she comes, it's like, you don't want to lie with a cripple. It gets, the first time he's gently pushing her away.
Yes.
The next time it becomes much more forceful because he just can't deal. But I love the first time in the wagon.
Where Paul goes, may I ask you a personal question? That was how this episode had a lot of 1980s modern speak. May I ask you a personal question? Oh, yes, thank you for your concern. I'm like, what are these people how are they all talking like this? But I'm like, wow, that is weird. And then she's actually talking about, well, he won't kiss me and well this. I'm like,
he hasn't kissed me in months, and
she's
I mean,
having
it's like,
this
wow.
conversation with her paw. Wow. I mean, yes, that would be happening. It would be a concern, but like, would she have that conversation with her paw?
I don't know. I thought that too. I know.
You're a best friend.
I love at the end of that scene that it buttons with "You're never alone, Half Pint. You're never alone."
That's what made it work.
Which is
She was always closer to her paw. So maybe that is who she goes to with that stuff. Okay.
So do you think, was Melissa 17 or 18 when this was filmed?
I think 17.
That's crazy. That's crazy. She did all this at 17
was,
years old.
she was 7.
Not the real Laura,
17.
the Melissa Gilbert.
Most was 17. Can we talk about the damn cat on the kitchen counter?
We sure can.
Look, I know
where did
it's
the cat come from?
2025. We all kiss our cats on the lips. They're everywhere. I'm terrible. My cats are everywhere. They're in the bed. They're still not allowed on the damn kitchen counter where the food is, and I'm the worst. I'm like, kitty. But I'm like, no cat on the food counter. And Laura, who never would have allowed such a thing in real life, nobody in that area would, because germs. This cat just comes in from outside. This filthy, a barn cat, a dirty barn cat, and jumps up on the counter. And she doesn't go, and get him off, goes here, and lets him have some milk and eat on the counter where she will be preparing food. And later even says, we should give you a name. It is a cat that is stray that she, in fact, does not even know, and is letting the filthy thing walk all over the counters. I was like, what is happening? How is that okay? That wouldn't have happened. No.
It was an interesting device. It's like, why it's an interesting point. Like, why that device? What purpose
does the
cat serve?
And the cat had so many scenes. Yeah. Well, when they introduce
we never see the cat again either.
The cat's in the vortex, of course. The cat is officially in the vortex.
How old is Grace when she makes her walk home?
Well, we'll get to that in part 2.
Well, she runs home. Grace runs home.
That's part 2. That's part 2.
There's a lot of odd things. Filthy barn cats on counters. I'm just people giving birth and not screaming. I don't know what's happening.
And then
the episode. Okay, I want to just say the episode ends with Eliza determining that she's going to be the one to show the farm because she didn't like the way Almanzo and Laura, in a rare moment in this episode of unity between Laura and Almanzo, where he just says she's telling the truth, and then he flips on her right away when Laura or Eliza says, I guess I'm beginning to wonder if the two of you really want to sell this thing. And then Almanzo caves and says, well, you're right. And of course, Laura turns, rushes out.
And prays.
And there's the button for the episode. Yeah, Lord, give me strength. Give me strength
for this in-law, which I think many people can relate to with their in-laws. Lord, give me strength.
Eliza has several of those great moments. I suppose I should have discussed it with you first.
Oh, yes. The Minneapolis thing. Yes.
Oh my God. She's constantly going, maybe I shouldn't be doing. You think? My God.
I have to say, this is the first time I've watched this episode. And when she talked about the possibility in Minneapolis, I was like, oh, she's right. This is a good deal, right? Like, he can have a desk job. Laura can go back to college. They can take baby Rose to the lake. They can, I was like, that's a good deal. That's solid. Y'all should move to Minneapolis.
All through the episode, everyone's talking about staying. She wants to stay. They want to stay in the farm, stay in the land, stay, no matter what the hell's happening in the house. And Paul's going on about staying. These people in real life moved constantly. Yes. Every time anything went wrong, they packed up, they left town. Yes. They left town at the drop of a hat. Nobody stayed anywhere. And in real life, Eleanor went, I guess we better get out of here. They did move, and then they moved back, and then they moved here. They moved like 5 times, and they moved all the time. Another weird thing with the thing of continuity. Okay, baby Rose gets born. In real life, baby Rose was about 2
when this happened.
He got diphtheria. Mom got diphtheria. The two of them, and she was pregnant right after having diphtheria with the little boy. who then died at like 2 weeks old.
Oof.
Was that connected? She absolutely would have had diphtheria while pregnant, because it's like, okay, they have diphtheria and the baby was born in, yeah, she had like massive near fatal diphtheria and then had a baby. Probably
Yikes.
contributed to the child's death.
We just misplaced. We needed another run of diphtheria in the show, I suppose.
Wait,
And,
Dean, we haven't even discussed this. Tell us your prep for how you did this. Like, what research did you do? How did you learn to do what you had to do? What were the challenges
diphtheria
of it?
and a stroke.
Yeah.
And
right.
a stroke.
So Kent McRae. I think I asked, is there someone I can talk to? And Kent pushed me to. There are several doctors. There are probably a handful of doctors in Los Angeles who make themselves available to actors who are going to be playing certain kinds of things, and they make themselves available for consultations.
Yeah.
And so this was one of those situations. I remember with this, with the diphtheria, it was the throat and the hard time swallowing, and so
awful.
That was that symptoms that could be played, and it would manifest. You could do that, and people would understand. With the stroke, obviously the physicality, you're paralyzed, you're not going to move your arm. But in terms of the speech, because you has to be able to have the speech, but the speech is inhibited, the doctor said, just sort of bite down on your tongue slightly. And so your tongue is everything for our articulation. And you take the articulation away with the tongue.
So like the side of your tongue.
Yeah, just like, exactly.
So you can't
move. Holding
it
down, and so you can't really talk.
Fascinating.
To put your face to sleep. So I thought that was interesting.
Very.
And as I watched it again, the other thing was that, did that work? Was it okay? I mean, it certainly there was the change. No question, there was the change. Beth, help me, Beth. Help me, Beth. I mean,
Jesus.
So it was. Those were the two major things, and then learning to walk again. It's like we talked about the scene where I'm in the next part, which we'll talk about, but. The dragging of the feet and all that is your turn. Now, interestingly, as I watched this last night, I'm realizing, wait a minute, there was nothing wrong with my right leg, and yet I'm dragging both legs. But that's okay, a mistake. The scene worked, but it wasn't an accurate thing. But okay, it's really, the doctors are trying to get you to think about things that can be physically manifested, that instantly can communicate, because you can't just think about these things. There has to be some behavior, some manifestation that you can play. And so those were the two major things that were done, and it was very, very helpful. And interestingly, it was sort of a psychosomatic thing. I remember getting sick during the shooting of the episode.
So interesting.
There was at one point, a doctor did come to the set during the thing to like examination, and because I had a fever and all that during that sequence of bedroom scenes, which were all shot together. You do all of that work in one run. And I remember being quite, not super sick, but sick enough that they felt like a doctor. They had to get a doctor on the set.
Wow.
So that sort of helped things too. Interestingly, sort of like, people always ask, what was it like? Were you really packed in ice? Yes, I was really packed in ice. And that makes those scenes really playable.
Yeah.
I really had a fever.
Oof.
That helps those scenes be very playable.
You're very method.
Anchors is an anchor, like I said, with playing a stroke. It's like, well, you can't do every single thing in your body. Okay, now I've had a stroke. You pick a thing, the part that doesn't work, and you do something physically, and then the rest of your body goes, oh, and immediately starts to like join in and go, okay, I guess that
I think
work.
that's
And
true.
Because your thoughts are
You need an anchor.
things. Yeah, your thoughts are things. That's how we manifest, right? It's just,
it becomes sort of real.
Which is the whole point of the story actually of this, which is his stinking thinking he's not going to recover if he has that negative
until
mindset.
he changes his thinking.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I mean, really
so
interesting.
Convinced he won't walk. Yeah.
Well, and so we finish this episode with Laura in the depths of despair at the breaking point. And with that, we will come back and, we'll come back next time and talk about part 2.
Because it gets worse before it gets better.
Yeah, it does, which is just blew me away when I rewatched this.
In the words of Mary Ingalls, how much more can I have to take? Yes, it's so much.
So they did it all.
I know. Allison, I was thinking too, because you were off the show at this point. Was Melissa calling you and being like, girl, what we had to do on set today? Were you did you know what was going on?
No, I would have loved a phone call during that episode. When I came back for Return of Nellie, I know everyone was like, thank God you're here. I know Melissa grabbed me when I came back Return and went just the atmosphere here, everything's really hard and things are boring. Because remember when made things better just being around.
You did make things fun, Allison. You did make things fun.
You were like this buffer zone, and you made us laugh. So when everything was dramatic, oh my God, the scene's gonna get. It was like, and then Allison would come in and he'd say something funny, and then we'd have lunch. And it was so funny.
Because I was gonna say because when Melissa came on our show. She said, and I asked her, what was the show? What was it like for you doing the show when after Allison left? And she just went, stupid. It was stupid. Sorry, Dean, go on. What were you going to say?
No, and I was just going to say the other thing that was a big difference. I mean, it was a big change. Michael wasn't around as much.
Yeah.
It was totally different.
So that humor that was a constant feature that he brought, we were operating as a completely new thing, and no one could fill that void because he was sort of always emotionally present.
Yep.
But he wasn't physically there.
Yeah.
A lot. And that I think that made the drama a little weightier.
More dramatic.
Because he had this way of making it loose all the time.
When you were done, he'd make you laugh, and you go,
exactly.
Get through the rest of the day after torturing myself for hours.
The actors on *Handmaid's Tale* always say, because it's so heavy. I mean, there's not a moment of it not being heavy on that series, and they all said that as soon as it was cut, they'd all laugh and tell jokes. That you need that breath. To not sink into just a hole of desperation. Yeah, of course.
Well, all right, hang on, everybody. There'll be a little more depression and desperation at the start of part 2, but send us off, Pamela.
What a teaser. Come back for more horribleness, you guys. All right, that's where we're leaving today's episode. We will have part 2 coming up next time. Everybody, join us on socials, Little House 50 Podcast, our website, littlehouse50podcast.com. Join us in New York City on November 22nd at Green Room 42. Christmas time in Simi Valley and other events. Everything's going to be in the show notes. And I think that's it, right? That's it. We'll see you next time. Bob, get the wig. Let's fly with diphtheria. Terrible. Awful.
Help me, Beth.